We're going to start looking at the Pythagorean theorem. That is going to be lesson 8.1. And here is an example of the Pythagorean theorem. It says a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And then all I've done here is written it as c squared minus a squared is equal to b squared. So it depends on what you're given as to which way you're going to want to use this. Let's look at some vocabulary first. The legs, so in a right triangle, so we've got to have a 90-degree angle. The sides that include the right angle. So right here's our right angle. A is a leg and B is a leg. The hypotenuse in a right triangle, it's the opposite side of the right angle. So here's my right angle. Opposite of that is my hypotenuse. And it is going to be the longest side. It's known as C because that's what we're going to label our A and our B, and our C is going to be the hypotenuse always. And then it's also the diagonal side. So it's that diagonal. The Pythagorean theorem says in a right triangle, the square of the length of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the lengths of the legs. So what does that mean? Let's look at this example. The square of the hypotenuse, so that's my c squared, that's 13 squared in this triangle, is equal to, so the hypotenuse squared, the sum of the squares of the lengths of the legs. So I have 12 squared for one leg and 5 squared for the other leg. So that's 5 and then squared. 12 squared, so 12 times 12 is 144, and 5 squared is 25. 13 squared is 169. And when I add 144 plus 25, we get 169 is equal to 169, which is true. I want to show you the visual of this right here. And what I have here is that triangle. And what I did is I went 12. So if I count that, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 units on graph paper or grid paper. And then 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that I have my 12 by 5 right triangle. And then it said that our hypotenuse was 13. So what I did is I cut out a square and I went 13 units, and I'll count them so we can make sure I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So what that is saying is the area of this square plus the area of this square is equal to the area of our hypotenuse square. Here is your most common right triangle, it's going to be the 3, 4, and then if you've seen my work here, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, 3 squared plus 4 squared, 9 plus 16 is 25, and that, if I didn't know, because I've already cut this out, there is my square with 5 units by 5 units, and of course it's not going to want to sit for me. All right, fits there. Sheesh. It does fit there nicely. It's just not going to be cooperating right now. All right, so there you can see, this is 3, 4, 5. This is our right triangle, and it's going to illustrate that a squared plus b squared equals c squared, because 9 plus 16 equals 25. And the square root of 25 is equal to 5, which is our hypotenuse length. All right, so I've got 4 of these I want you to try on your own. Find the missing angle, or find the missing side, sorry. So you're going to use a squared plus b squared equals c squared. All right, so I'm going to work out number 1. And I have the legs, 30 squared plus 40 squared is equal to c squared. We don't know, right? All right, so 30 squared is 900, and 40 squared, 1,600, is equal to c squared. And then we need to add our 900 and our 1,600, and we get 2,500 equals c squared. Now we've got to take the square root of c squared to get c, and we need to take the square root of 2,500, and that's 50. Okay, so the length of c is 50 feet. All right, in number 2, we're given the hypotenuse and a leg, and we need to find another leg. So for that one, you could use, and you could plug it in here and it'll still work, but we were given c squared minus a squared equals b squared, if you remember that from the first page. All right, so c squared, 41 squared, minus 40 squared is equal to our unknown b squared. 41 squared is 1,681 minus 40 squared is equal to 1,600. When I subtract, I have 81 is equal to b squared. Again, I need to take the square root of b squared to get b, and the square root of 81 is 9. So the length of b is 9 inches. And obviously that would not be drawn to scale, would it? All right, number 3. I'm going to use that same. So right here, I'm going to say 14 squared minus 8 squared is equal to b squared. So then we need to do 14 squared equals 196 minus 8 squared, 64 is equal to b squared. When I subtract 196 minus 64, 132 is equal to b squared. All right, remember we need to take the square root of b squared to get b, and then we need to take the square root of 132, which is approximately 11.49. So b is approximately 11.49 inches. And the reason that we have a decimal here is because 132 is not a perfect square. All right, let's look at number 4. In this, we're going to be looking for our hypotenuse again, so we're going to do the a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A squared is 15 squared plus b squared of 36 squared is equal to c squared. All right, 15 squared is 225, and then we need to add that to 36 squared, so plus 1,296 is equal to c squared. All right, we need to add 225 to 1296, and we get 1,521 is equal to c squared. Let me switch my colors here. And remember, we need to take the square root now of c squared to get c, and we take the square root of 1,521 to find the length of c, which is 39. So c is 39 centimeters. All right, These are going to take practice. Please work on your IXL codes in MATLAB and let me know if you have any questions or need additional help. I'm probably going to post another Edpuzzle video to give you help on this. Have a great day.